Welcome to Sports Geek Throwback. Here's your host, the sports geek himself, Sean Callanan.
G'day, I'm Sean Callanan from Sports Geek, and welcome to Sports Geek Throwback, where I pick out best bits from the Sports Geek podcast archive. For this episode of Sports Geek Throwback, I go back to episode 146 with Jayne Bussman-Wise, published in May 2017. Jayne was at the New York Red Bulls at the time this episode was recorded. She is now at the Professional Women's Hockey League. Remember, if you need help, whether it be across digital, marketing or sponsorship, I'd love to help. I love working with podcast listeners. That's why we've developed the Digital to Dollars process to help digital teams prove, justify and actually drive revenue for your team. I'd love for you to get in touch, and I'd love to help you. In this throwback episode, Jayne and I discuss what are content strands and why are they important for digital revenue. Remember, you can listen to the full episode at sportsgeekhq.com/146. Enjoy my chat with Jayne.
Yeah, and I think the other piece of, pitching of content and pushing out a content concept, we've been using it a long time, that it sort of takes about 6 weeks for fans to catch on that you're doing something, in a particular manner or releasing a particular series, and then to sort of form a habit around, yes, I want to consume that. So there's that little bit of, you've got to have faith in what you're doing, but you've got to give it a little bit of time to let the fan base see that it's a new thing. If you're just throwing out a new piece of content or trying something, if you haven't done it a couple of times, the fans haven't been able to attach themselves to it. So it's a little bit. You've got to be trusting your gut and playing that long game.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think one of the things we've really shifted into is how do we create sort of content strands? So thinking less about kind of one-offs. I mean, while there are moments where we may want to do that. How can we build out these strands that are reoccurring, whether it's weekly or potentially monthly? To your point, people get used to, they come looking for them. The audience, you're kind of training people what content you're getting on what platforms. But also, one of the things that I've heard you talk about with others on the podcast is, that the commercial opportunity around that. Those become opportunities for partners that are far easier to monetize and can honestly have much, I think, stronger ties and be better, assets and drive more value for a partner on those content strands that are reoccurring.
I've never heard. I like the word content strand. So it is very much. I'm very much if you can't name it, you can't sell it. So if you can't say, hey, this is our so and so series, then it makes it very easy for the commercial team to sell. But there is that case of you can prepare something and say, this is what we're going to do, and it can be sold. And then the content team can just start doing something, build up that asset, and then realize it's a really valuable asset, either from an engagement point of view or a viewership or a fan passion point of view. They just really love it. Building out those content strands is a terrific way to build out those commercial opportunities. Again, you're 30 days into your role as content communications. Where does your role fit in that working with the partnership team and getting some of those commercial opportunities out of digital?
Yeah, we work really closely, and actually our chief commercial officer is a woman that actually used to work for at New York City FC. So we've worked together before and even worked together in different roles, but was also at the Garden at the same time. So we work really closely with them, everything from with partners on the partnership marketing side on activating. But really, I think for me, it's how do we create content? How do we work with media on a proactive way so that we've got great assets for our partners? How do we figure out from a partner standpoint, what are their goals and objectives, and what might be the right fit within, our assets or our platforms or content? And, how do we create things that become really valuable to that point? So that's something that I've already started to work on. And I think will continue to be, an area for folks in the digital world on the team side, where more and more time is spent, because I think it's what partners are looking for, more and more asking on the digital and particularly in content now.
And I think the advantage you have 30 days in, you're new in the role, you get to effectively ask the question, why are we doing this piece of content? Who is it for? Has anyone talked about commercializing it? Because you're coming at it fresh, with fresh eyes. You can, see something that potentially has that slight tweak of, here's all the content we're doing, it's great content, and here's the partnerships that we're doing.
If you like this Sports Geek Throwback episode, please check out the full episode at sportsgeekhq.com. Please share Sports Geek with your sports business colleagues. We appreciate you sharing. We love working with podcast listeners. Please get in touch so we can help your team. Go to sportsgeekhq.com/phone call. All Sports Geek episodes are available at sportsgeekhq.com and all podcast platforms.